Hey everybody, Pastor Koschmann here again, and I have a question for you. Have you called your grandma recently? Or what about your parents? You know, before all of this craziness happened, I used to talk to my grandma on the phone about once a week. Well, especially during football season, because, well, as soon as the Packers game was over, even if it wasn't on TV here, I'd be, checking the game clock on my phone, and as soon as it hit 0, boom, I'm on the phone with grandma, and we would recap the game. She would tell me what I missed if it wasn't on TV, and we'd catch up on life, and it was good. And now, when it isn't football season, sometimes not quite once a week, without that constant reminder, that automatic reminder, sometimes it fell by the wayside. But now, I probably talk to grandma, 3-4 times a week sometimes. And at first, I thought it was that I was checking in on her, that it was for her own good, that she would need this. And I was making sure that she was being safe and that she was, having that connection with the outside world or whatever. I thought I was doing this for her own good. But recently, I realized it might be just as much for me. That with, in some ways, a lot less going on, I almost needed it, that I felt kind of this compulsion to call her for my own good and this desire to have a connection with her. And as I was thinking about that, it got me thinking about our relationship with God. And now many of you, you were used to having this kind of weekly connection with God, right? Every Sunday you'd come into church and you'd have that weekly connection with God. And maybe, sometimes depending on what season it was, you kind of didn't have that automatic reminder and it kind of fell away a little bit. And maybe in all of this, you thought you were doing this, you were having this connection with God for Him. Just like my phone calls to grandma, that I thought I was doing her a favor and I was fulfilling some need that she might have, that by going to church, we might feel like, we're doing God a favor and we're fulfilling some need He has for us to come to church to be with Him. But now, especially as we are unable to gather together in worship, maybe you're feeling that absence. Maybe with the lack of distractions going on, you're not going on vacation right now. You don't have youth sports or other youth activities to be running around to with the kids. You're not having friends over all the time. Maybe in all of that, you're realizing something even more is missing. Something that you're desiring to connect with, and it might make you want to check in a little bit more often with God, to feel that normalcy, to feel that stability. It reminded me of Luther's explanation to the introduction to the Lord's Prayer. You find it in the good old small catechism here. It says, Our Father who art in heaven. What does this mean? With these words, God tenderly invites us to believe that He is our true Father and that we are His true children, so that with all boldness and confidence we may ask Him as dear children ask their dear Father. And I just love that wording, that God invites us to come to Him, to call upon Him, not as some distant ruler or some faraway, detached God, but no, tenderly. Like a dear father invites his dear children to come to him. And we can come at any time, for any reason. In Philippians chapter 4, Paul writes, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God." And then also in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, Paul writes, "Rejoice always, pray without ceasing. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you." And I love that passage there. And not just the idea of praying without ceasing, but also give thanks in all circumstances. And that can be difficult, because sometimes giving thanks is the last thing we feel like doing. Well, just like rejoicing always. What if I don't always want to rejoice? But we have to remember, to give thanks in all circumstances, even if it's just giving thanks that we have a God to whom we can bring our grief and our shame and our sorrow, that we have some place to go with that. And because of that, we can rejoice always. We can pray without ceasing, and we can give thanks in all circumstances. So I hope that you continue to come to God in prayer, that you also spend time in His Word, and you do feel that connectedness to Him, even as we are all disconnected from each other. Oh, yeah, and call your grandma or your parents. Call people. It's good. Anyways, again, thank you everyone for your continued prayers and encouragement and support. Don't forget to go to our website. We've got all the videos posted there under the videos tabs, also on our YouTube channel as well. You can also sign up for our email list if you haven't been getting those emails, and sign up for e-giving as well. One final thing, we're getting like a communications group together to try to make sure that we are connecting with everybody in the congregation, that they are aware of these videos and the emails, and also just how people are doing. A lot of times when I call people, they say, hey, how's everyone doing? It's like, I don't totally know how everyone is doing, but we want to make sure we are finding that out. So if you would like to be a part of this communications group and be calling people and reaching out and connecting with them to see how everyone is doing, please let me know. We will make sure that we connect with you as well. But as always, stay safe. God bless. Love you guys.